Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. I just want to let y'all know I'm not going to keep y'all too long. I've got several things I want to talk to y'all about, but most of it is little bitty short clips and hopefully not too much opinion here on my part. But truth be known, things are happening here in America. I'm seeing more and more when I'm looking at the Daily Mail and Gateway Pundit and Rumble and YouTube and X as far as trending news, breaking news, and what's really going on behind these arrests, these indictments, these subpoenas, these implications, this exposure, this transparency, this fact that people are talking openly now about the Clintons' involvement in all kinds of things. 2020 stolen election is now being discussed on all kinds of forum, and I'll prove that to you here directly. Trump discusses it. Actually, Putin discussed it with Trump, and I've got a story about that if you haven't seen it. Pretty interesting stuff. Basically, Putin confirms just what Trump's always been saying. We've all heard Trump say, this Ukraine war would have never happened if I was your president. Would have never happened under me. Only because of Biden and his screw-up, incompetence, whatever it is, would have never happened under my presidency. If they wouldn't have stole the 2020 from me, this war with Ukraine and Russia would have never happened. Now, Trump has said that many times over many subjects, including the Ukraine war. Well, now, if you watched any of the Trump going to Alaska footage, you'd probably know at this point that Trump and Putin had a real conversation about the whole situation, and Putin come right out and said in front of the whole world, I don't think that that the 2020 was on the up and up, and not only did they take that away from you, but you're right, the Ukraine war would have never happened if it wasn't for the fact that weak President Joe Biden was in there and was a huge part of the huge problem. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about that really pissed Russia off. Not the fact that just that Ukraine was weak and Biden was weak. It was Biden provoked the war. Biden had blabs in Ukraine. Russia's got questions, can't get no answer. And next thing you know, he's got the CIA at his borders because our government has basically entrenched herself in Ukraine's business. I don't know what all they're doing over there in Ukraine. I can't even begin to speculate at all the things that are probably going on corruptly that caused this war to begin with, much less the fact that a lot of people just love war that are in politics. And so they push for it. But that's another story altogether. But starting off today, we've got deportations. We've got people being held accountable eventually. We've got investigations. We've got indictments. We've got subpoenas. We've got a lot of implications against a lot of people over a lot of different crimes, including the 2020 election, that is going to be more and more prevalent in these future investigations where we're tying these people that colluded against Trump in the 2016 behind the Russia collusion hoax, that colluded all the way up to the point that they were trying to get him locked up behind these district attorneys and all those people, including involved in the 2020 stealing of the election, or denying it, or looking the other way, or promoting the media to censor the fact that the public was not happy about the results and how they went, how the rules were changed. But that's another story. We all could relate to that. But you know where I'm going with that. But let's go ahead and get into the fact that more than 240 people have been arrested this week since this crackdown started. I believe it started Monday afternoon, if I remember correctly. And here it is, the weekend, and we have 240 plus arrests, 38 firearms seized, and so much more in the crackdown. Now let's go ahead and listen to a little video clip that gives you some better details than what I could do for you. Now my computer seems like it's running a little slow today. Maybe the internet is clogged up with people going on with the viral videos. And speaking of viral videos, I promise from now on, end of the day, I'm either going to bring into the clip, into the video, for any of you that stick around to the end, I'm going to try to bring you something every day, either very comical or something viral that's trending right as I'm getting ready to end my broadcast and send it out to y'all. That way I can give you last minute, up to the minute news with something no matter how trivial it is, I'm going to bring you something trending at the end of every episode, or something comical, one or the other, if not both. So if anybody sticks around to the end, hopefully that's a bonus. Yeah, I was realizing that stuff is trending new every 30 minutes to an hour on X, and it's really like TikTok. It is one way to actually keep up with what's going on, and I hate to say that about TikTok, but there's only a few sites that are able to keep up with current news, including here, the Gateway Pundit. They're pretty good about keeping up on what is happening in the now. But it says DHS passes 1,000 deportations at this point. Here we go. Have y'all heard that? DHS passes.
Showing more than 240 arrests since the beginning of the crackdown on crime in D.C. Just last night, 38 guns taken off the streets, 52 arrests, of which 28 were illegal aliens. Also, 25 homeless encampments were removed. For more now, let's bring in White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. Hey, Stephen, thank you for joining us. These are pretty remarkable numbers. Talk to me about it.
The numbers are breathtaking. Since President Trump asserted federal control over our nation's capital in Washington, D.C., we have seen a record number of violent offenders, bad guys, gang members, and all kinds of threats to public safety removed off the street, as well as their illegal weapons that they've been using to terrorize the citizens of this city. Additionally, we have seen over 70 homeless encampments that have scarred and disfigured the public streets of this city, dismantled and thrown away, and the homeless cleared from those encampments. At the same time, we have the National Park Service going around and getting rid of the gang graffiti that has been left untouched by this city for decades. Since I've lived here, I moved to Washington, D.C. 20 years ago. And I've seen graffiti in some of our landmarks that has gone unremoved for decades, that is now being cleared away. You have gang members that are being taken off the streets. You have druggies that are being taken off the streets. You have our parks being made safe again, our transit being made safe again. Last night, I had the honor and privilege of being at roll call for all of the federal and state officers that are going out in these task force. They are thrilled to be here. They are thrilled at the local level and at the federal level to be able to have this assignment on behalf of President Trump to make our nation's capital safe and clean again. It really is liberation for Washington, D.C., Griff.
And Stephen, I think what's really fascinating to me is someone that covers.
I just want to bring you all the stats on that. A little bit of Stephen Miller's always nice. I like this guy. He's one of the guys that actually helps write policy when it comes to executive orders and things Trump wants to do. This guy would be great in Congress after maybe he don't need to go to Congress. Maybe he needs to stay as an advisor for the next several presidents, because he has got his ear to the ground, knows what's going on. Very smart legally, or as far as being attuned to the law. I've seen him debate, battle reporters, and just set people on fire with the absolute truth, because he knows the law better than most. If you like MAGA policies, you probably have a reason to like Stephen Miller. Whether you know it or not, he is the man behind the scenes, helping make a lot of this stuff the best available possible policy for the people. Stephen Miller is behind the scenes headhunter when it comes to getting things done, and I'm just glad to see it that he's on our team, because he's a political savant when it comes to strategy, no doubt about it. He created the whole build the wall package that Trump was trying to push through in his first term. It says DHS passes 1,000 deportations a day with no signs of slowing down. That is not enough people. It's for a year. If you're doing it day by day, it doesn't add up to 500,000 people. Not going to work, but it is better than what we've been before. So they are recruiting, spending the money to expand, giving incentives for people to show up and become ICE agents. And they are going to use the next 3.5 years to not just push these people out at 1,000+ deportations a day. they are going to ramp it up and hopefully get to several thousand deportations a day. That way we can actually, over the next 4 years, 3.5 years, get a few million people out of here, at least the worst of the worst, if nothing else. This process is going to take 5 to 20 years to get all these people that have showed up in the last 4 years, and that's just the truth. But we'll ramp it up as much as we can. We'll watch the numbers grow. Hopefully we'll get up to 10,000 a day. When we get to that number, we'll be doing some real work as far as making a huge difference on the total number in the long run. If we could do that for 3.5 years, we'd be golden. It'd be millions of people versus hundreds of thousands a year. That's what I got for you on that one. Let's jump over to something else. I got something. Let me find my cursor. Yeah, ramping up. I've seen a lot of footage. I don't want to show you too much of that. YouTube's a little finicky about it, but there's a lot of footage of ICE agents having to fight with people in order to take them down, stop them from preventing other people from being arrested. A lot of obstruction going on. We all know about the Subway sandwich bandit that used to work for the DOJ as a lawyer, Mr. Pink Shirt guy that can't run very fast. Got outrun by a ICE officer with a flak jacket on with probably 40 or 50 pounds of weight on him because of the bulletproof jacket and the flak jacket, all the tactical gear that he has to wear. Still got outrun, tackled, arrested, thrown in jail, and fired from the DOJ all in the same day behind thinking it was okay to throw a sandwich at a police officer. That was golden, folks, and that is the absolute truth. But that's what's really going on in the world. Democrats are getting arrested for election fraud. Putin's admitting the election was stolen, which we're fixing to listen to right now. It's about a 3-minute clip, but there are several nuggets in this clip. If you haven't heard it, it was Sean Hannity discussing Vladimir Putin, stolen elections, and several things with Trump. It was an exclusive. I just thought I'd bring this to you because, like I said, lots of nuggets in here. Here we go, folks.
All right. Do you ever think Hillary Clinton, the author of the bought and paid for Russian disinformation dossier, the author of the Russia hoax, going into today, would be saying she would nominate you for a Nobel Peace Prize? I don't think you ever expected that happening.
Well, you know, I don't want to be involved in that sense, not because of her. It's very nice. If she said that, it's very nice. I really appreciate it, too, actually. But
she tried to ruin your life, and in many ways, she ruined 3 years of your life.
Well, she made me stronger and tougher, and, you know, we had...
You are way more forgiving than me. That's...
Well, it was a sad chapter in our country's history. I will say that. Look, you can't run a country that way. You know, Vladimir Putin said something, one of the most interesting things. He said, your election was rigged because you have mail-in voting. He said mail-in voting, every election. He said no country has mail-in voting. It's impossible to have mail-in voting and have honest elections. And he said that to me. It was very interesting because we talked about 2020. He said, you won that election by so much. And that's how he got it. He said, and if you would have won, we wouldn't have had a war. You'd have all these millions of people alive now instead of dead. And he said, and you lost it because of mail-in voting. It was a rigged election. But mail-in voting, Sean, the politicians, I think I'm going to make it a big, I know the answer is that Jimmy Carter, years ago, along with Scoop Jackson and some others, they had a committee, respected people, good committee, Jimmy Carter, good guy. You know, he's a good man. And the conclusion was you can't have mail-in voting. We have mail-in voting. It's so dishonest. They send stuff. Some people get 7 ballots. Look at California with that horrible governor they have. He's one of the worst governors in history. He's in.
Putin from Russia can see our election was stolen. He knew Trump would have won in 2020 if the shenanigans weren't pulled, if they weren't trying to attack Trump, impeach Trump, arrest Trump, come up with hoaxes about Trump, arrest half of his team, jump in as part of his team, but actually be deep staters, creating lies, hoaxes every minute of the day. It was the mainstream media promoting the hate of Trump for 7+ years now, 8 years now. It is a sad state of affairs for what Trump has tried to do to help our country, including go to Alaska and be awake 22 plus hours in order to run across the world, have a meeting, run back, just to make sure that if it took 22 hours or 48 hours of him staying awake in order to make something happen, he would do it. That's who Trump is. And I see that, and just mad respect for the fact that not too many presidents have the will, the energy, the interest in doing an all-nighter or an all-weeker to handle something, to take care of business. TCB. Trump is TCB, takes care of business. Like no other president I've ever seen in my entire lifetime, and I'm just hats off to him. Anyway, let's get back to the video, folks. Not enough glamoring over Trump, but I'm still impressed. I thought Trump had showed me everything he had with his many negotiating skills and all the things that make him a great president, but still today I'm amazed one more time, again and again, over just how he handles so many situations.
Competent, he doesn't know what he's doing. They send out like 38 million ballots. Some people get 5, 6, 7, but Vladimir Putin, smart guy, said you can't have an honest election with mail-in voting. And he said there's not a country in the world that uses it now.
Oh, I would love to see election reform.
Well, we have to do it. I don't know why we're not doing it.
Yeah,
and you bring it up. The Democrats don't want it.
We have to do it. I don't know why they're not bringing it up. We have to do it. We got till 2026 to fix it every way possible we can, and by 2028 we need to have the whole absentee ballot thing almost non-existent, if not totally illegal. Let's get it done, folks.
Look, the Republicans want it, but not strongly enough. I mean, they got to want it strong, because it can't be honest. It goes through a postman. It goes through some.
Apologize, folks, if my internet is having spooling issues on your end. It looks like it's spooling on my end.
Somebody. You know, when you go to a really well-run voting booth, you go in, you have to hand a card, a picture, or this or that. You don't have everything perfect. You get sent back. Go get it. It's very hard to do something fraudulent with a vote.
Paper ballots.
Mail-in voting, they give you boxes of stuff. You have no idea where they came from. This mail-in voting, you can't have a great democracy, republic. You can't have it. Well, maybe that's why we're going to end up with a communist mayor in New York. I don't know. He probably is very happy with mail-in ballot. But you can't have a great democracy with mail-in voting.
Voter ID, signature verification, chain of custody controls, updated voter rolls, partisan observers watching the voting all day, the vote counting all night. You do paper ballots, you pick a winner, and everyone goes home with confidence in the integrity.
For 10% of the cost.
Yeah.
So if you do paper ballots, it
Sounds
costs you
good.
10% the cost of machines.
Let me ask you this.
So there were several nuggets in that video. We got to do something to stop it. We've got to reform this whole absentee ballot boondoggle theft that has ruined our elections. Even Putin could see it from across the ocean. So many people, I'm sure every country knows that Trump was more popular than Joe Biden, and he lost by just a little bit after days and days of delay. After Trump was way ahead before the delay, it just stunk to high heaven, folks. For anybody that's not even a conservative, anybody that was just paying a little bit of attention would have said, "Hey, come on, this doesn't sound right." Before you started digging, investigating, doing the number crunch and stuff, it just didn't sound. There's no way Biden got more votes than Obama, much less Trump. That's just what we all know. So that's not debatable at this point. It's just a matter of who we can prove is a part of the problem and is going down behind it. Now, to change the subject here quick before we get too far into this video, about to get to the end of it. I know everybody's got busy things to do, being the weekend, but I thought this was a Fox News clip that was worth sharing. I do watch a little bit of Fox News because they are pretty close to being up to the moment on a lot of the breaking news events, just like Gateway Pundit and Rumble. There's certain places I go to, and it's not about whether I like the site or not. It's about seeing if I can find the news the minute it breaks, who's got it first, who's refusing to cover it. That's where it's at for me. So I do watch a little bit of Fox News, and sometimes they have breaking news, and more than that, just like people like Benny Johnson and Charlie Kirk, they have great interviews. And so I'm kind of forced into watching them. But I only watch CNN and MSNBC, folks, honestly, just for y'all's, just to inform y'all, because I hate those shows. But when they're spouting some new narrative and it's going viral, it needs to be covered. So we go that direction for that reason only, because I am not a fan of lying media, otherwise known as MSN, Legacy Media, Mockingbird Media, however you want to define them, it's all the same. Now, Mexico extradites 26 cartel leaders. That's talking about Ms. Sheinbaum, the Mexican president, to the United States after sending 29 in February. So we're up to 55 cartel, if not leaders, top-notch minions as far as their hierarchy, that are all in jail under the condition that the DOJ would seek the death penalty on all of them. Now, that is what this lady is saying. Now, let's see if the reporter says the same thing. Pretty interesting, though, that we now have 55 extradited from Mexico cartel involvement. People that are involved in the fentanyl game and the human trafficking game. And Trump was able to get them extradited and brought here to pay for the crimes that they committed either here or there. Either way, it is a win for the American people to see top-notch cartel members be taken out of the game, because if it slows down the drugs and the human trafficking, I'm all for it.
Mexico has extradited 26 high-ranking and leaders here to the United States in a major victory for Donald Trump.
Yep, Mark Meredith joins us live from the White House with more. Mark, what are the details?
Brian, Ainsley, and Lawrence, good morning. Plenty of details to share. Good morning to all three of you. The Trump administration says it's made some notable arrests, with 26 men now in custody after facing a number of charges from drug trafficking to murder, and these were all fugitives who were captured in Mexico. Take a look at the rap sheet of some of these people who were arrested, including men at trafficking hundreds of tons of cocaine, a man accused of murdering an LA County sheriff's deputy, leaders with the Sinaloa cartel, and those also believed to be responsible for helping bring fentanyl into the country. The Attorney General, Bam Bondi, reacting, saying these 26 men have all played a role in bringing violence and drugs to American shores. Under the DOJ, they will face severe consequences for their crimes against this country. The administration is also thanking Mexico for collaborating in this operation. It also comes amid questions about how the administration plans to tackle some of the world's biggest drug cartels. There's reporting the U.S. military will target cartels throughout Central and South America, but how far those military operations may go remains unclear. Just this week, Mexico's president said any U.S. military strikes against cartels in her country would be an invasion and not tolerated. This week, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, he was actually on Fox and was asked about these reports about the U.S. military operating in these Latin American countries. He wouldn't go.
This is what happens over there, folks. I don't mean to stop him, but this is what happens over there. President Sheinbaum over there may not like the human trafficking, the cartels, drug trafficking business, but if she fought it 100%, she'd be dead. So what happens is the head cartel members, the bosses near Mexico City and a lot of the places where the points of monetary beneficiency, where they make their money, best way to put it, they've got people soaked into the government there. They got people corrupted by the money that's coming in because they use them particular spots as a trafficking point or a transport direction. There's so many different ways that the cartels are paying people and not just look the other way, but participate, added security to a particular drop or transaction. 90% of the Mexican government, including the police, are corrupt because it's easier to take a pile of cash than a bullet to the head when it comes down to the fact that even your boss is corrupt. And so you're kind of stuck in a position. And I guarantee you that Sheinbaum is taking the money from the cartels, and she doesn't like the fact that America wants to show up and take out. She don't mind turning over cartel members, but she doesn't want the United States government showing up and taking people out without approval, without warning, without her being able to have the time, or her and her staff to have the time to be able to warn certain people, hey, look, they're coming for your guys. Get the big bosses out, because inevitably it's damage control and somebody's going to get shook down, and so they probably throw up their little fish and put them in a position to get raided versus maybe I'm just speculating here, folks. I'll leave that one alone, but I do believe that Sheinbaum is not innocent in this whole drug trafficking money, so she probably wants to have the first piece of information that comes out when it comes to who's going to get raided next. That way she can give certain cartel bosses the heads up for her to keep her own status, to keep her own position, or to maybe get paid. Who knows? But I believe that all of Mexican government is corrupt at this point, behind the fact that they either get killed or get paid, depending on how they deal with the cartels that are everywhere over there. And that's just the facts. All right, folks, let's get back into a couple clips here, and we will call it a day. I didn't mean to rattle on so long, but I see what goes on. This is some Breaking Bad shit, but on a much larger level. That not just the local politicians are involved, but world governments are involved in this drug game, and that's what I have to believe. Our CIA, the Mexican president, so many. Folks, I'm going to bring you two last clips, and we will call it a day. Okay. Now, Trump got back to D.C. at 5 a.m. this morning, early, after a 22-hour day in pursuit of peace in Alaska, and he was out on the course by noon, so he didn't get a full day. He probably got him about 4 or 5 hours sleep at most. Have no idea how he does it. This man is a machine, and I just want to bring you all that, folks, because how many presidents have you known in the past that are willing to do a 22-hour day to try to broker peace between other countries that, in reality, if they want to kill each other, it really would make a whole world of difference on our economy, our relations, but we just choose to get involved because a lot of our government likes to sell bullets, and now we got Trump in there who wants to promote peace, so we have to get involved one more time, but hopefully it's to end this and end our involvement. That way Russia and Ukraine can go back to being their own sovereign nations and hopefully do business with us to where we can benefit as a nation as well in order to promote the peace deal and promote our own economic greatness. Trump can do it like that. He's got the whole art of the deal down to a science, and I'm just glad for it. All right, folks. This is one of my favorite people to go to over here on X. It is, I repost his videos all the time. It's 3D printed Ford parts is the name of the channel. This guy just, he speaks his mind better than I can, and I just appreciate what he's got to say most of the time, because it's definitely not just uplifting, but it's the truth. All right, folks, we're going to play this one. I'm going to jump out of here. Like, subscribe, and share if you haven't already.
Trump and Putin just held a joint press conference. Trump says, I'm cool, he's cool, we're cool, this shit's all good to go. Trump says he's going to call up NATO, tell them what the fuck's going on, then he's going to call up Zelensky, slap the $100 bills out of his nose, tell him to stop railing lines off his desk, because you're fucking done here, son. Trump says this thing is all set to sail. Only person that can fuck this up is fucking Zelensky or NATO. As long as they don't escalate this shit, we are all good to go here. Putin even goes, hey, yeah, if Trump had actually been president in 2020, this war never would have happened. Wow. No, nobody wanted to fucking hear that shit, did they? No. This is Joe Biden fucking instigated this shit. Fucking Trump says, I'll get NATO on board, Zelensky on board, we'll wrap this deal up, we'll meet one more time. Then Putin in English goes, hey, let's meet in Moscow. In English, that is the first time Putin has ever spoke in English. Like, this is it. Like, Trump actually fucking has this thing locked and sealed up. And the word on the street is if Ukraine or NATO fuck this up, Trump has told them, like, I'm cutting it off, 100%. No more money, no more weapons, no more intelligence. You're on your own. So it's either take this deal or Russia takes the whole fucking enchilada, dude. That's how this one goes. And Trump's just over here playing whack-a-mole with these fucking endless wars. He's got Ukraine now tamped down, and then you got BB Satan Yahoo over there being like, we're gonna fucking invade Gaza, bomb Iran, and blow Syria to fucking hell. And he's like, greater Israel, fucking murder everybody. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, you gotta have